Hi guys, today I'm going to show you how to make homemade fluffy naan in a frying pan. First I've got here a cup of plain flour. To that I'm going to add about a third cup of whole wheat flour, or atta as we like to call it. That's just chapati flour. Now you need to make a little well in the center, and into this I'm going to spoon in some additional ingredients, starting with natural yogurt at room temperature. We want about 2 tablespoons of that. Then I'm going to go in with about a teaspoon of instant fast acting yeast. Now don't be afraid of yeast, it works brilliantly in naan. To that I'm going to add about a teaspoon of salt and sugar, and then about a teaspoon of just normal vegetable oil. I've also got here about half a cup filled with whole organic milk. Now, I've warmed the milk up before, and you want to use warm milk while making naan because it really helps bring all that gluten out and also helps the flours sort of proof with that yeast. So I'm going to pour it in little by little and then start rolling out a dough. First, you want to turn this into breadcrumbs. Now add a bit more milk. And you only want to add this little by little because you don't want your dough to get too wet. You can see this dough coming together really nicely now. And by the way, if you do add too much milk, no drama at all. I always keep a little bit of plain flour, and you can add that in just to sort of bring your dough back to being doughy rather than soupy. Now, when you have a lovely smooth dough, you need to put it on your chopping board or your base, your worktop if it's clean, and really punch the life out of it for a bit. Now, needs probably about 3 to 5 minutes, and you'll know when it's done because it's going to spring back when you give it a good pummeling. So you'll see what happens there when you punch it. It'll just slowly spring back. Now you'll notice I put whole wheat flour in this, and that's because plain flour tends to spring back, and it's quite hard to work if you're doing this at home. So that's done. That's our dough. I'm going to put it back in the bowl, and then it needs to proof. So I'm going to cover it with a damp, clean tea towel. Now, what you need to make sure is that there's no air pocket forming inside. So just make sure when you cover it that your tea towel actually touches the dough. And this will go in the warmest place in my house. Now it's winter here, so I'm going to put this in my airing cupboard, which houses the boiler, the tumble dryer and the washing machine, and we'll give it a couple of hours. You could also put this in the oven at its lowest setting if you like. That is one much quicker way of doing this. So it's been a couple of hours and I've got my dough for the naan out of its warm resting place. I'm going to peel this tea towel off, and you'll see it sort of wants to stick, it doesn't want to leave, and you have this heaving, frothing mass of naan dough that looks impossible to do anything with. But not to worry, I'm going to quickly grease my hands with about a teaspoon of oil. In fact, only my right hand, my left hand doesn't need to worry too much. And then I'm going to use that to bring the dough round again into something a little bit more pliable and workable with. And then we're going to turn it into this long, almost like a pipe of some sort, or a very long sausage. And what we're going to do is we're going to leave these bowls here just for another 10 minutes to rise up again. Go. Cover it back up and just leave it sitting for 10 minutes. While your naan is sitting, get your frying pan to a medium heat, and also grab a stick of butter from the fridge. 10 minutes are up, so I'm just going to get that naan dough again that's been sitting. Grab one of the 4 balls, cover the rest again so they don't dry out while the others are cooking. I've got a bowl of dough, and I'm going to quickly turn it into a circle to the best of my ability. Now, most people say get it into a tear shape, but actually I like to think of the dough at starting point as an alien's head. Now, this is pure aesthetics. You don't have to worry too much about the shape, but if you're into getting it looking, you know, that restaurant perfect, then just turn your dough into an alien's head like that, and then using no flour at all, go in with your with your rolling pin and stretch the dough out. You want to get this really, really thin, otherwise your air bubbles won't come through and you won't get that spotty naan that we know and we love. So you've got your naan there. Shove it on top here and then just cover it up. So in 2 minutes, open up your naan and you'll see little bubbles have appeared. So at this point, you want to flip your naan over and you'll see that that's the base. Give it a quick push with that spoon and cover it up again to fluff up the other side. In 2 minutes, take your stick of butter and then off you go. Rub it on top and then remove it and get going with your next one. What you will find is by the time you do your last naan, it's all going to be beautiful because the pan's really hot, you've gotten into the groove. It's the same rules apply as pancakes. First one, not so good. By the time you're doing your last one, you're really good at it. So here's my parcel of naan and I'm going to give it a quick taste test. Look at that. So good. That is better than any Balti takeaway curry house naan I have had in a long time, if I may say so myself. If you like what you see, don't forget to click like and please subscribe to see more videos like this one. Thank you for watching.